It's no secret Canadian snowbirds haven't been flocking to South Florida lately. President Trump's immigration rules and tariffs have caused controversy in Canada.
If you live in an American tourist hotspot, you might not have noticed it yet, but tourism to the U.S. is on the decline. The U.S. is set to lose $12.5 billion because of it.
Florida keeps insisting its tourism industry is doing great. Officials point to record visitor numbers and say there's nothing to worry about. But behind those headlines is a quiet crisis. Canadian snowbirds, once the backbone of Florida's winter economy, are disappearing, and their absence is leaving holes you can see from the beaches to the balance sheets. In just one quarter, Florida lost nearly 100,000 Canadian visitors. That's a 20% drop compared with last year. On paper, that might not sound like much, but in Fort Lauderdale alone, local officials estimate that loss equals $90 million in missing economic activity. Multiply that across coastal towns that rely on Canadians, and the losses run into billions. So why are they leaving? The answer isn't just one thing, it's everything. Rising costs, bad politics, and a feeling that Florida no longer wants them. Francois Grenier, who owns a cafe in Dania Beach, has served Canadian customers for 20 years. They used to pack his patio every morning through the winter. This year, the tables sit empty. He says many of his regulars told him they won't come back. They just don't want to spend here anymore, he said. For a small business that lived on repeat winter customers, that's devastating. The same story plays out across the coast. At Richard's Motel in Hollywood, a woman who had stayed there for 25 years canceled her reservation. Through a translator, she said, "I used to feel free when I visited Florida. Now I'm scared." One line captures the mood better than any statistic. Florida has become expensive to love. Homeowners insurance averages nearly $9,500 per year, the highest in America. Add property taxes and maintenance, and many snowbirds who once saw Florida as affordable now call it impossible. The Canadian dollar only makes things worse. Each loonie buys about 72 US cents, turning every restaurant bill and repair cost into a reminder that the math no longer works. Realtors say Canadian buyer interest in Florida homes is down about 25% since the start of the year. Some agents who specialized in cross-border deals haven't had a single Canadian offer. Others are getting calls from clients who want to sell and move on. Politics deepens the divide. Trade fights and harsh comments toward Canada through 2024 and 2025 left many Canadians angry. Governor DeSantis joked that he wanted tourists from Canada to help subsidize Florida's taxes. For visitors who've poured billions into the state, that sounded like a slap. The message many heard was simple. You're a wallet, not a guest. Climate fears add another layer. After years of hurricanes and flooding, coastal property insurance has exploded. Some Canadian owners can't even find coverage. Others worry about future sea level rise making their condos uninsurable. The dream of a warm, safe winter home now looks risky, so Canadians are looking elsewhere. Mexico, the Caribbean, Portugal, and Spain are all welcoming them with open arms. These destinations offer lower costs, warmer hospitality, and fewer political headaches. One Canadian couple told Reuters they sold their Naples condo and bought a home in Mazatlan for half the price. "We feel wanted there," they said. "That migration isn't temporary. Habits form fast. Once travelers build new winter routines, they rarely come back. Florida's leaders might not feel it yet, but the foundation is shifting under them." Canadians bought properties, paid taxes, volunteered, and spent months living like locals. Their loyalty was worth billions. They supported construction crews, grocery stores, clinics, and schools through the taxes they paid. Now that connection is breaking, and it's taking an entire seasonal economy with it. You can see it in the data and in the streets. At Fort Lauderdale Airport, Canadian arrivals are down more than 13%. Visit Florida's own reports show a steady decline in long-stay Canadian visitors, even as short-term domestic trips hold steady. In some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay and Naples, condos that once filled up with Ontario and Quebec license plates now sit dark through the winter. Property managers say they've never seen it this quiet. The consequences go far beyond tourism. When Canadians sell or stop coming, property tax revenue shrinks. Cities rely on that money for public safety, fire departments, and schools. Hotels and restaurants hire fewer workers. Seasonal jobs disappear. Even healthcare systems that expanded capacity to serve part-time residents now find themselves overstaffed and underused during what used to be their busiest months. The ripple effect touches every corner of these communities. There's also the human side. Many snowbirds formed friendships that lasted decades. They joined church groups, volunteered at local shelters, and became familiar faces at neighborhood diners. When they stop returning, locals feel it. The same cafe conversations that once mixed accents from Quebec, Ontario, and Florida now echo with silence. Meanwhile, Florida officials continue to celebrate strong overall tourism. They're technically right. Domestic travel and Brazilian visitors have increased, but that's a surface illusion. A family visiting Disney World for 5 days can't replace a retired couple who spend 5 months renting, shopping, and contributing to local life. The short-term visitors are like a sugar rush. The Snowbirds were a steady meal. Economists warn this is how decline creeps in. The state's top-line numbers look fine, but the base of loyal, high-value visitors erodes underneath. If that erosion continues, recovery becomes almost impossible because rebuilding trust and habit takes years. A loyal traveler who buys property and returns annually can't be replaced with marketing alone. The next winter season will be the real test. Businesses in South Florida are already bracing for another slow year. Some hotels have begun marketing heavily in Brazil and Europe to fill empty rooms, but spending patterns are different. Brazilian tourists stay for a week or two. They don't buy condos or join communities. The money comes in bursts, not streams. It keeps the numbers up, but doesn't rebuild what was lost. To understand how dangerous this is, imagine a small Florida town built on seasonal visitors. Half the storefronts rely on Snowbirds. When even 10% stop coming, the fixed costs stay the same, but the income drops overnight. Jobs vanish, properties sit unsold, and city budgets fall short. Multiply that story across dozens of towns, and you have the outline of a statewide economic slowdown, one that official press releases can't hide forever. So what could Florida do about it? Step 1 is honesty. Pretending the problem doesn't exist only makes it worse. A public acknowledgement that Canadian tourism is vital would go a long way. So would outreach, a campaign in Canada emphasizing welcome, stability, and appreciation. The state could offer small tax or insurance incentives to property owners who maintain long-term investments. It could finally confront the insurance crisis that makes owning a Florida home nearly impossible for many out-of-state residents. At the same time, Florida needs to future-proof its tourism model. Relying on one demographic forever is risky. Diversifying into new markets is smart, but it has to be done while keeping the old ones happy. Right now, that balance is gone. As of late 2025, Florida still boasts about total visitor counts. But underneath, business owners, realtors, and tourism boards are sounding alarms. They're watching a loyal customer base vanish while leaders laugh off concerns at conferences. The contrast between political confidence and local panic could not be sharper. If nothing changes, Florida might soon wake up to find that its most dependable visitors are gone for good. Not because of a single policy or crisis, but because of years of small, avoidable decisions that told them they didn't matter. Drop a like and hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for more videos like this.